Today we're going to see Yachats. I'm going to drive you through town, tell you what's so great about Yachats, and of course talk to you a little bit about the real estate market there. All that starts now. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel Living on the Oregon Coast. If you're new to this channel, Living on the Oregon Coast, and you'd like to know more about what it's like to live here, what it's like to eat, sleep, play, all the pros and cons of living on the Oregon Coast, that's what we cover on this channel. So if you want to see more of that, make sure and subscribe. My name is Seth Marchant. I'll be your host today. I'm a licensed real estate broker in the state of Oregon. All right, Yachats is a town of about 1,000 people. Like I mentioned, it's in the southernmost part of Lincoln County. So this is a really small coastal town. If you're not really familiar with the Oregon coast, there's a lot of towns along the Oregon coast that are kind of around that range of 500 to 1,000 people. A bigger town along the Oregon coast would be more like 10,000 people, which you have in the town of Newport, which is about 30 minutes to the north of Yachats. And then just 30 minutes to the south of Yachats is the town of Florence, also roughly around 10,000 people. That's about as big as it gets along the Oregon coast. The only other exception would be the Coos Bay North Bend area. That combined area is about 25,000 people. So one thing about Yachats, some of these towns along the Oregon coast, when you kind of get in that range of like 500 and 1,000 people, sometimes there's not a whole lot going on there. That's not the case with Yachats. And especially that was, true in the last couple of decades. When I was a kid growing up, a lot of these smaller towns were sort of depressed. They just didn't have the tourism or the local economy to really support much. And that's changed a lot in the last 10 years. Oregon Coast has really started to boom. A lot of people moving there, probably just like people like yourself thinking about moving there. A lot of retirees coming there. So there's people moving there from Oregon to retire, but there's also a lot of people coming from outside the state, a lot of people coming from California, of course. So some of these smaller towns just don't quite have some of the amenities that most people would want that are moving here either to retire or from a bigger area, such as groceries and restaurants. That's not going to be the case with Yachats. Now, I would say most towns along the Oregon coast that are around 1,000 people aren't going to have the best restaurants and might not have enough grocery shopping to where you're not going to have to go somewhere else to do your grocery shopping. That might not be the case with Yachats. You might actually have everything that you want right here. Now we're getting into the downtown. This is really kind of it. And you can see the people walking around. You don't see that kind of vibrancy. A lot of the smaller towns with 500 to 1,000 people, when you're driving through, you might not see any people along the Oregon coast. So Yachats is a much more vibrant town. And I would say as far as like shopping and amenities goes, any other town that's going to be this close to size of Yachats, you're probably going to find yourself traveling outside of it quite a bit for shopping and restaurants. Again, not the case with Yachats, so kind of makes it special and a little bit unique. And if you do need more than what Yachats has, like I said, 30 minutes to the north, you've got Newport. 30 minutes to the south, you have Florence. So a lot of outdoor activities here. You are close to the Oregon Dunes National Recreation Area. Lots of hiking. Of course, fishing, clamming, crabbing, all that stuff that people like to do along the Oregon coast. Big art scene in Yachats. I would say Yachats is maybe one of the more artsier towns along the Oregon coast, if you will. A lot of great local artists here. Handful of great shops and art galleries. Fairs and festivals, too, throughout the year, as you might imagine. By the way, we're driving on the 101. As you might have noticed, it goes right through town, so that's pretty much it right there. We're kind of getting through Yachats, just kind of north of town now. We started south of town. That drone footage that you saw at the very beginning was actually just kind of north of here, going to the south. And as you might notice, there's quite a few homes to the west of the 101, so to the left of us here, that sit on pretty flat lots. A lot of homes that have really great views, and you do, as you probably noticed from that rocky coastline, you have a little bit of elevation too, which is popular for people that are worried about tsunamis. I'm going to show you and take you kind of just south of Yachats here in just a moment as we get outside of the town. As far as the real estate market goes, we're right in the peak season right now. So in July, season kind of peaks around end of July, early August, and there's currently 16 single family homes on the market. So inventory is pretty limited here. Average price points around 500,000, propped up a little bit by a fair amount of waterfront or ocean view homes that are usually going to be pretty close to seven figures. So where we're at right now is Cape Perpetua, Perpetua Lookout. So facing south now facing back north. This is probably one of the more, and I know it doesn't look like it's not a whole lot of people down here right now. This is on a weekday earlier in the day. But this is one of the more popular tour spots along the Oregon coast. There's a handful of things that people come here to see. Probably the most notable first would be Thor's Well. And you're going to kind of be able to see that peeking out just below in the bottom left right there. Sort of this hole that fills up with water and creates this like spouting effect. There's also something called spouting horn, which also creates another spouting effect. Kind of see that along this entire coastline. You've also got Devil's Churn here, and then Cape Perpetua. There's a few hiking trails around here that a lot of people come to stop for. A lot of parking off to the right. You won't see that in this video here, but might not believe it, but people come down here and walk through these rocks, so be careful if you do. It is very dangerous down there, as you might imagine, but when it's busy, you're going to see this place crawling with people. I'll share this picture with you. It's actually just a screenshot from Instagram. I couldn't find the original picture, but when I took this picture, well, my sister took this picture, but when I was here, there's probably about a dozen other people trying to take this exact same picture. This is from 10 years ago on a cell phone camera. I'm actually kind of surprised at the decent quality. All right, so I hope that gives you a little feel for Yachats. If you have questions about moving to Yachats or really anywhere else along the Oregon coast, we've helped people move from Brookings to Astoria and everything in between. We know the Oregon coast very well, probably as well or better than anybody else. So any questions at all, if you're thinking about moving here, you can call us, text us, email us. You can even click the link below in the description of this video if you want to schedule a Zoom call with us and meet us that way. And if you want to see more videos like this, of course, make sure and hit the subscribe button. We release new videos every week. Until next time, everyone, take care.